Fox has announced the Daytona 500, 7 Eastern tonight. Still got a little rain in the forecast until around 3 this afternoon, so I think they just said, you know what? Just move it to the evening, which is pretty cool. I don't know if it affects drivers, though. Let's bring in Darrell Waltrip, NASCAR on Fox analyst. D-Dub, does driving at night change anything as opposed to during the day with this race?
No, it's just a little darker, that's all. No, I wasn't trying to be a smart.
Yeah, you were.
Well, to tell you the truth, from a driver's perspective, maybe not so much, but the car will like the conditions better. The track will be a little cooler, have a little more grip. You'll be able to I hate to even think this or say this, but the guys might be able to be a little bit more aggressive and get away with it. We have seen carnage down here for a couple of days in the 2 preliminary races. Was anticipating pretty much similar situation in the race yesterday, but I think the track will be better. I think the conditions will be better, and so those things add up to hopefully a better race. The lights, I love to watch the cars run the lights. They look like they look faster. The sparks, you can see the sparks flying. It's a little bit more of a spectacle when you get to race at night, and particularly in prime time on a Monday night. That's pretty big.
Yeah, I was in Chicago a couple of years ago, and just watching the race at night, it just had a different feel to it. Now you have Daytona at night, 7 Eastern on Fox. Are the cars dangerous, more dangerous this year? The rules, the setup, the track, because of all the carnage as you were mentioning?
Well, the cars aren't dangerous. I mean, we have seen some unbelievable crashes. Danica Patrick had one, in her qualifying race. Jeff Gordon turned over, got upside down in the shootout. We've seen more accidents than down here than I think I've ever seen. But it's because, listen, this is the Daytona 500, and when you come down to this race and you participate in this race, you don't want to go home saying I didn't give it my all. And you'll do things here, you'll take chances here. You know why? Because the reward is so great. To win at Daytona in any race is a huge accomplishment, and so you're going to be a little more aggressive. You're going to try a little harder. You're going to take a few more chances, and that's going to equate to a few more accidents. But the cars they're the safest race cars we've ever had in the history of the sport. These drivers pound that safer barrier and get out and are mad because they got to get out of backup cars. So cars are not dangerous. The racing is just really aggressive this year.
You talked about Danica Patrick yesterday during the rain delay, and she has to be careful, this reputation of it's everybody else's fault, with the crash. And you don't want to come across as a whiner. Now, I'm paraphrasing you, but your thoughts with Danica, her reaction, the crash artist, I think, is what you talked about yesterday.
Well, what I said was you don't want to become known as a crash artist.
Yeah.
You can't go out there on the racetrack every time you can't get it every time you get into a race. You get in a wreck. There's what I call the common denominator, and if you're in enough situations and you're always the one involved, then sooner or later you're going to have it's like a wake up call. So she's just gotten herself in a couple of unlucky situations. What happened to her in that qualifying race? Minding her own business, having a great run, wasn't doing anything wrong, going to have a pretty decent finish, and a car came out of nowhere and hit her and knocked her into the fence. In the nationwide race on Saturday, got a tap at the wrong place. She wasn't doing anything wrong, minding her own business, and it put her in the fence. So, but I got to tell you, Dan, she is a feisty competitor.
Oh man, I know.
And when I interviewed her right after that crash on Thursday, I did a sit down with her, and she came in the room and she wasn't whining. She was mad. She was mad because she had wrecked a really good race car and had to go to her backup. That is all she was complaining. Man, I got to go to my backup. I hope it's as good. I don't know if it's as good or not. So she's a competitor. She's fiery. She's passionate. She's everything that you see. And the term crash artist is just something that somebody said to me when I first started. I got in a few wrecks when I first started, and they were usually things maybe a more experienced driver could avoid it, but I could always blame it on somebody else. So you kind of not fall into that category.
Can you get lucky and win this race?
Maybe she has lady luck.
But can you, by any driver, I'm not just Danica, can you get lucky and win Daytona?
Yeah, I'd say so. The way the racing is at Daytona and Talladega with the drafting and the two-car tandem, even though it's a little more limited this year, right place, right time. You could be really lucky. We've had two guys win down here already in the truck race and in the nationwide race. James Busher won the nationwide race on Saturday. Dan, he was in 11th place in the middle of turn 3 and 4. They all crashed in front of him. He dived, darted, and slipped and slid and found his way in victory circle. I got to say that was luck.
What's better for the sport? Danica wins, Dale Jr. wins.
Well, I mean, if you wanted to make a wish, you just say, well, they finished first and second. That'd be the perfect scenario.
But what order?
I don't think it would matter. I think everybody wants Dale Jr. to win. It's been a while. Everybody's anticipating that next win. He's great here at Daytona, but with all the Danica mania and the hype and who she is, and I'm serious when I tell you, for the last month, she's been the face of this sport, and so to have her win this race, I think it set the world. I think it set the racing world on its ear.
Good to visit with you, D-Dub. I know you got a long day and certainly a long night, but thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, my friend. I love your show. I watch it quite often.
Thank you, buddy. Darrell Waltrip, right. NASCAR on Fox, 7 Eastern tonight. We have Hot Pass, though, DirecTV, don't we, for this coming up tonight with DirecTV? 4 dedicated driver channels in HD. Kevin Harvick, Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr., and Carl Edwards. Hot Pass for DirecTV. So 7 Eastern is the race on Fox.